Attention, go. And we have a start. Good clean start from everyone. Looks as though Penn may have caught a couple bad strokes in their start. And they're down. And as the crews draw level, it's Princeton and Tennessee with a slight lead over Dartmouth and Pennsylvania following behind.
Yeah, Princeton really looks like they lengthened out to base and really hit a rhythm in the start here. We're through the breakage zone, and it looks like Princeton and Tennessee are initial leaders here. Princeton definitely looking long, definitely looking strong. Definitely aggressive in this first quarter of the race. Gotta tell you, in this B4 Princeton, they're looking pretty clean right now.
Yeah, they are. You know, look, as we are now through the 250, it's kind of tough to tell from back here. But if I had to say, I think Princeton is out to an early lead.
Yeah, you know, to be honest, it looks like they are moving out from the field. They are being really aggressive right now. If I had to say it, they're sitting on the bow ball, if not breaking open.
Yeah, and the race behind them developing, it looks as though that Dartmouth is now pushing through Tennessee.
Yeah, it's really tight race between these three boats. I think Penn is actually probably just about a length down to Tennessee, and Dartmouth is right there with Tennessee. As we come into this first 500, it is all Princeton Tigers.
Yeah, I would say that Princeton has now pushed out to about a length lead over Dartmouth and Tennessee. Dartmouth and Tennessee running pretty level with Penn about a length off those two. Looks as though Penn might have suffered from that start just a bit, but they're holding steady as they try and work their way back into this field.
Yeah, you know, people always say you certainly can't win a race from the start, but you can definitely lose it. And it seems like that little instance that Penn had in the beginning there is really costing him now. It looks like Dartmouth is starting to take a little bit of a push, and they are moving on Tennessee. Again, this is a race for second as Princeton is way out in the lead right now.
Yeah, Princeton's looking pretty good. Nice sharp entry with the blades into the water. Really together, really driving for the line here. They're trying to open up a good solid lead by the time they get to the 1,000. As we approach the 750, I think from back here, it looks as though Princeton might have opened up a bit to open water lead over Dartmouth and Tennessee.
Well, as you know, Ian, the coach of the fours for Princeton is first-year coach Kate Maxim. She came over from Oregon State. She said the racing between the two fours leading up to this year has been really, really solid, really, really tight. They're really creating a good competitive environment.
And at this point, Princeton has definitely pushed out into an open water lead as Dartmouth has taken a length on Tennessee. And Penn looks as though they might be moving back into Tennessee, trying to bring up the pack a little bit and not fall too far behind.
Yeah, it's always good to keep your composure, even if you have a bad start. You definitely can make up a little bit for it with your base in the middle 1,000, especially in Cox 4 races like this. They're a little bit longer races than 8s, so you have a lot more time to get back in the fray.
And as we approach the 1,000-meter mark, it looks as though that Princeton has now opened up about a length open water, maybe a touch more. Looking really good out of the Tigers so far. Good, clean racing. Nice flat water across the course.
And even as we say that now, it looks like Dartmouth's trying to solidify their second. They have just broken open on Tennessee, with Penn really fighting to get back into Tennessee. Their bow ball is really pushing for that stern deck.
And the Tigers they really don't want to look back. They're just pushing forward towards the line, trying to open up more margin as they cover this course. Good row out of the Tigers so far as we approach the 750 to go mark. And it looks as though Penn might be starting to move back into Tennessee a bit, with Dartmouth trying to chase down the Tigers. Tennessee has started to fall off that early pace that they set out of the blocks here.
Yeah, you know, they had a real blistering start in that first 250 meters, but when you have a start like that, you always got to be able to come down into your base speed.
As we are through the 750-meter mark, Princeton maintains that open water advantage over Dartmouth. And they're going to continue to push here. They definitely don't want to be content with this lead that they've built up so far. They're going to try and push for more as we come into the last quarter of this race. But so far, the Tigers still looking strong, still looking pretty together as they try to push away from Dartmouth and the rest of the pack. And as we come through the final 500-meter mark here, it looks as though Princeton may have opened up a bit more advantage over Dartmouth. At this point, I give them about a length and a half to 2 lengths of open water. From where we're sitting, it looks like they might have about a 5 to 6 second lead at this point, and they're going to look to continue to push on.
Yeah, it looks like all the boats right now are separated by a little bit of open water, with between Princeton and Dartmouth being the largest margin. Looks like Princeton now is starting to bring up the rate. They're coming to close their quarter. Definitely rowing a full race here.
And you can hear the calls from the Princeton crew as they approach the last 250 meters. Really want to start up in their game and try and raise the rate just a bit more to maintain that lead that they've built up over Dartmouth. And Dartmouth is looking to push away from Tennessee on the outside, and Penn is still trying to get themselves back up into this race. But as we are now in the last 250 meters, Princeton has opened a solid advantage over Dartmouth, and it looks as though they'll be able to close this one out.
When you get a lead like this, Ian, in a race, what are you trying to push for, like going to the line? Definitely thinking about the time, huh? You're racing against the clock?
Oh, most definitely. You always want to have a good, solid, complete race, and you don't ever want to be content with any sort of lead. Always trying to push forward and maintain good rowing all the way down the course. And as we come into the last 100 meters here, Princeton will take this race. Great way to start the day for the Tigers out here.
It's looking like Dartmouth's going to come into the pack in second, followed by Tennessee, followed by Pennsylvania.